What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean. And today at Reactions to the Classics, we're throwing it way back, staying true to our name, going back to 1959 with Marty Robbins and his album Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs. I want to shout out our longtime friend of the channel, Patron, who suggested this, Shane. Thank you, Shane, as always.
Thank you, Shane O'Mac. Always appreciate you and your support. If you want to support us anyway, check out the Patreon link below. A lot of things we can do for you, and we definitely couldn't make it without the patrons, so really appreciate that. Trey, as you said, 1959, not the oldest album we reviewed, because there's a couple of us older. We're right there in that area. We're actually going to look at the 1999 reissue. It was reissued on compact disc. They changed the track listing around a little bit, added 3 songs, has a full-length version of El Paso. So that's the one we're going to give a listen to. It was Marty's 5th studio album, released in September of 59. Went to number 6 on the U.S. pop albums chart. Reached number 1 in both the country and pop music charts, because that was a little different at the start of 1960. Won the Grammy Award for Best Country and Western back in the days when it was country and Western. And one of the most interesting things, it's different back then, guys. Recorded in one single 8-hour session.
Gotta love it, man. I don't know much about Marty Robbins at all. I honestly didn't know who he was until Shane suggested this.
I knew the name growing up. I just heard the name. I knew he was an old-style country guy. All Music gave it 4.5 stars, and here's what they said. That's why I pulled this out. It is the, quote, single most influential album of Western songs in post-World War II American music, whatever that means. It's also included in every revision of the list of 100 or 1,001 albums you hear before you die, which I know several people in our community are going through. And I also know that Shane shared this in the Discord. Check out our social media stuff below. And some other guys listen to this, and we're pretty high on this album.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited to get going with it. I only know one track on here, and that's the track we are opening with, Big Iron. Shane brought it on a live stream, but it's been a while, so I don't remember the ins and outs of it. But it was written by Marty. Members of the Western Writers of America chose it as one of the top 100 Western songs of all time. Tells the story of an Arizona Rangers duel with a 24-year-old outlaw named Texas Red in the town of Agua Fria. The townspeople predict the death of the Ranger, an unconcerned Texas Red, having already killed 1 in 19 men. But at the moment they meet, the Ranger kills Texas Red with the swiftness of the big iron on his hip. Texas Red hadn't even cleared leather, a slang for drawing your firearm out of its holster. The Ranger's draw was that swift, and one bullet was enough to finish the outlaw off. We are Texas blokes.
We are.
So we'll be able to envision this.
Yeah. We're not going to go out there and have the gunfight anymore when things don't go right. But Marty's Robbins' version of this hit number 5 on the country chart, 26 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's also featured, I think this is how Shane got turned on to Marty, in the video game Fallout New Vegas. The popularity of the game helped spur a revival of Marty's music. Big Iron became an internet meme, gaining popularity through remixes and Photoshop parodies, as well as its use on YouTube. The Big Iron was built by Andy Anderson in his fast draw holster shop from parts. It was on a Great Western frame with a 12-inch barrel made from an 1892 Winchester. The cylinder is a Great Western cylinder chambered for a .44 Magnum. Shout out to Dirty Harry. Marty Robbins happened to be in the shop a day that the customer bought the gun. The customer also is a very large man, and Marty was fascinated by his fast drawing, the bunt line. 1 week later, Andy Anderson received in the mail a record of Big Iron. Marty wrote the song for seeing this gun, got it out, and got it to him within a week. So we don't have that much research on hardly any of these songs.
No.
Most of them are pretty, pretty out there. So there's not a lot written about them. But just a reminder, first time watching, we don't have the music in the reaction. But if you do want to follow along, hear what we got to hear, there is a link below. If you know this album inside and out, just hang around. We'll be right back.
Well, as always, got the lyrics pulled up, man. I'm excited. Let's get digging into this. All right, Big Iron bringing it, man. As it was going a little, I really only remembered the big iron on his hip. So catchy, man. What you think of it?
Oh, it's great, and it tells a story and just unrolls the story. It's 8 or 9 verses long. Nice little where they come in and kind of give them a little harmonizing on the end of every verse. But yeah, it just tells a great story. Don't get too cocky, boys and girls. The Outlaw is very cocky, taking everybody down. But
Taking down 20 people, but he couldn't take down 21.
No, it wasn't meant to be, man. Big Iron took him down.
No, man. I just thought that I just loved the storytelling. Quite frankly, here. I mean, musically, you just kind of had a basic guitar strum and the bass going in.
Kind of drove it along. Yeah,
and quite a propulsive track up in here, man. And it just really sets that imagery, quite cinematic, I guess.
That's a great way of putting it. I was imagining it all as it was going down.
In a sense, man, taking me back to good old John Marston, Red Dead Redemption. Yes,
exactly.
Man. So no, man, I just I thought it was cool, and man, Texas was down because the Arizona Ranger
took him home.
Arizona, man, gotta be watching out for them, man. But no, what a good way to start the record. Longest song on this album, sans El Paso, which I know are two of the kind of bigger hits on here.
Exactly.
But let's see what we got next. We're going to 160 acres, only a minute 40. So let's check it out. All right, going real old school here with 160 acres here. Really leaning into that big time country old school sound. Wasn't a huge fan per se, but man, this guy's loaded 160 acres.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. I mean, he doesn't really take any lyrical breakdown. He's happy. He's in a good place. He's got guys that work for him. Yeah, it's an old time cowboy song. I think where they're just singing along, a lot of harmonizing there. And yeah, I mean, I can just see him sitting around the campfire singing this song. So not horrible. At least I know what they're talking about. The story is good. Now we're going to go to the third track. Trey, this doesn't sound too promising for this man. They're Hanging Me Tonight. What a freaking song, man.
Dude, yeah, that was great.
It's the story, man. This guy, they're about to hang him, man. And we find out they're going to bury Flo tomorrow, but they're hanging him tonight. And as the story unfolds, a guy comes and takes Flo from him. At first I thought, maybe he meant this guy killed Flo and he's going to go kill this guy. But no.
Yeah, I was on that. Like, as it was going in that first verse, I was thinking, this man's hanging tonight. And then mentioned it, there was another guy with Flo.
Yeah.
And then, and then, the chorus comes in. It says they'll bury Flo tomorrow. So then that really got me thinking this man went off.
Yeah, and I think about the thing I've done. I know it wasn't right. So he ends up going into town, looking through the window of a cafe and sees Flo and the man there, and he just couldn't take it. He took care of both of them. Trey killed them both. So, he knows he shouldn't have done it, but what's done is done, and this man is hanging tonight. So what a great story.
Oh, no, definitely got to like that one. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Great control in Marty's voice. We haven't touched on his voice yet, but he's picture perfect for this style of music,
I think. And you mentioned at the start, more of a, dial back guitar, more of a classical guitar, and not so much the Western stuff we got on the last one.
No, man, I really dug that, and the only Flo I know is Flo from the Progressive commercials.
I know Flo from the old TV show too. Those are the only two Flows I know.
But we're gonna switch it up now and go to Cool Water. This was written all the way back in 1936 by Bob Nolan about a parched man and his mule traveling a wasteland tormented by mirages. Members of the Western Writers of America chose this as the number 3 on the top Western songs of all time. And Fleetwood Mac also recorded a cover of this, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, it was included. It's on the album Mirage, if you have it. It's a hidden track on the album after the final song, Wish You Were Here.
Cool, clear water. Now, the longer that went on, the more it was kind of relaxing in an odd sense.
It was. It had a lot of similarities to 160 Acres in the harmonizing. I'm sitting around the campfire singing about the cool water. Basically we talk about the song. There's a mirage. They have a lot. Start having visions, man. They need that cool water.
Dude, no, they do. Yet again, just got to highlight the, and this wasn't written by Marty, obviously, but it seems in this sense, they build that setting up so well.
Yeah, man, every one of these songs is, as you said, cinema quality, man.
So, man, I don't have much more to add. It was just, it was a solid tune, man. Solid tune right here. And we're keeping in with the Western greatness. We're going to Billy the Kid. Also, that same Western Writers group chose it as one of the top 100 Western songs of all time. Lyrics perpetuate several myths about Billy the Kid, such as his exaggerated kill count and the suggestion that Pat Garrett had known him as a friend.
Yeah, and this is actually in the public domain. We don't come across songs very often.
Old school.
Old school, baby. Billy the Kid, man. Just telling the story of Billy and, you're not going to live long. if you chose this lifestyle, Trey.
No, I thought that the warning at the end was quite powerful.
I did
man.
too.
You know, saying there's many men with a face fine and fair who start out in life with a chance to be square, just like poor Billy. They wander astray. They'll lose their lives in the very same way. Just painting that story. 12 years old, Billy the Kid, an absolute mad lad. You hear his name. I don't really know much about him, and it seems like they stretched the truth here, but
Yeah, they definitely did.
you build the legend.
For sure.
All right, and let's go now to Utah Carol. Another great tune right here. Love the story on this one.
Yeah, just a fantastic story. He ends up saving his friend and losing his life in the end, man. But that's what those brave actions will sometimes do for you.
Poor Lenore, man. She, had the red blanket, so the cattle see the red,
and they went after it.
And then Utah went to save old Lenore, but the saddle, I guess, couldn't take the weight,
and it snapped, and she fell, and he
was like, "Lay still. I'm just gonna take the blanket and
take it."
But he went out though like a hero, man. He got the 6-shooter, took out the lead cattle.
The lead cattle. He took one out, and then he's gonna forever be remembered. So yeah, just a great song.
And then wrapped in the same blanket, some cool imagery there, yet again, and just kind of symbolism with it all. I dug this one.
And another one of those songs, Trey, that nobody knows who wrote.
Dude, exactly, man. Well, we're gonna go now to the Strawberry Roan, a classic American cowboy song written by California cowboy Curly Fletcher. Man, all these dudes back in the day just had names made for them. First published in 1915 as a poem called The Outlaw Bronco, and yet again, one of the top 100 Western songs of all time. All right, the Strawberry Roan, definitely a bronc not to be messed with here.
For sure, man. I don't know how many of us here have ever tried to break a bronc. I never have, but, just a really good song, man. And he promised the guy at the start, I can do this, man. He goes, I give you a shot. But then he found out,
well,
Strawberry Roan, it ain't going to happen.
No, man. This guy's had success. There was never a Bronco that he couldn't settle down, so to speak. There's always man. But
they're always out there, man.
And, I like at the end, he insinuates, I bet all my money the man ain't alive that'll stay with Old Strawberry when he makes his high dive. Old Strawberry got that tough. I like the way they described this Bronco, man. Just you could tell the grittiness and toughness of it, and our man was no match.
Yeah, and it makes sense that it started out as a poem in 1950 because it's written as a, in that format where you kind of get everything that's going on, man. Now we're going to move to the Master's Call, a tune that Marty actually wrote. He did write a few on here, Big Iron being the other one so far.
Wow, the Master's Call, man, one of my favorites up to this point, man.
It's so good.
I like it because Marty wrote this, showing that songwriting ability here, and probably my favorite vocal performance as well.
Yeah, a lot of passion, as you said, when he did it. They're rustling the cattle.
He's an outlaw, man.
He's an outlaw. 1,000 cattle or so. Lightning hits. He hears his Master's call. He hears the word of God, or hear the call of Christ, and then it just kind of goes in, kind of begs for his life, sees his life sort of proverbial flash in front of him, and promises that he wants to live for Jesus, and he's spared. He's
spared, man. I like it where the lightning came in and where the tree was. Now there's a cross, and he notes then another mighty lightning or bolt of lightning showed the face of Jesus Christ. And I cried, "Oh Lord, forgive me. Don't let it happen now. I want to live for you alone." When we're facing that death.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like, hey, man,
I ain't gonna do this anymore, man. And no, I thought that. Yet again, a very cinematic track that had a powerful, you could only imagine how powerful an experienced religious or otherwise this would be for this dude, man. So I dug this one quite a bit, and now we're going to go to Run and Gun. All right, Run and Gun, apparently a bit of a, an old school hitman, so to speak. And, yet again, some themes through this record, man. You can't outrun your past sometimes.
20 notches on my 6 guns. That's a big deal. We've had 20 and 21
You're right.
Several songs. And so basically, he says many times I sold my fast gun for a place to lay my head. till the nights began to haunt me by the men that I left dead. So he didn't actually sell his gun. He means he killed somebody, so he had a place to stay. So he tells Jeannie goodbye, heads out from Kansas City to Mexico Trail. Long drive, definitely a long ride, but
yeah,
he didn't make it past Amarillo.
No, man. The bounty hunter came in. He drew just like in a Big Iron Man. He was shot before he was able to even draw his gun, and but he knows that one day the bounty hunter is going to meet the same fate that he is right now. And then as he's dying, he thinks of his love and what could have been.
Yeah, that was my favorite part, where he knew that the bounty hunter would meet the same fate, because it's just a circle of things that go. So really, really good story. Now, remember, we're doing the 1999 reissue. We come up with a version of El Paso, but the last song on here is going to be the El Paso full-length version. So we're just going to skip this one and move on to In the Valley, another one, Trey, written by Marty. In the Valley, a little more low, old school sound to
Definitely.
A minute 48, and you mentioned during your just an old school love song. He's just saying he's going to be as sad as this and that, if she doesn't come back to this old cowboy. I mean, it's a fine song, not one of my favorites, and a little different than the others that he's written, but it's fine.
No, my least favorite tunes are these kind of in that really old school, slower time, but still not bad.
Still not bad. No, you're not just going, I can't stand this, man. But now we're going to come to the Little Green Valley. We just had In the Valley, Trace. So we're spending some time in the valley, baby. This man's homesick.
Dude, he really is, man. I think we all have that little green valley,
When to go back to a time and place. This describes how great it is. This song for me is like some of these other ones you were saying. It's a lesson for me, because it's not really the kind of song that I would listen to. And I would listen to it for 10 seconds and then I would go, this is not for me, and skip it. But the longer these songs go on, the more you're like, that's a pretty decent song.
No, yeah, it's kind of got a warm quality to it. That's just,
And it does tell you a story, like you were saying earlier. Like, you want to see how the story unfolds, man.
No, definitely. And I think that's the strength of these Western type of songs. I mean, really not familiar with Western music. So, because, country...
No, we weren't spinning it in the casa as you were growing up.
Because, these are different, in a sense, from, obviously Western and country music are very, have some overlap. But
they are different, yes.
Less, we haven't had any, this is 1959, no instrumental solos or
man, we're just telling
portions,
the story, baby.
So,
that's all we're doing.
Going into that Little Green Valley, I'm with you, again, not going to be among my favorites, but I still enjoyed it, kind of for the story it told and what it was, man. And now we're going to go to The Hanging Tree, which is, I believe, one of the bonus tracks, wasn't on the OG version, but on the 1999 release. It's from the movie from 1959, The Hanging Tree, where Marty actually performed it in the film's opening credits.
Went to 38 on the Hot 100, 15 on the country chart. Scored by Max Steiner, written by Mac David and Jerry Livingston, who received nominations for the Laurel Awards and the Academy Awards in 1960. Won another song where the members of the Western Writers of America chose it as one of the top 100 Western songs of all time. Marty chose well on the songs that he was covering on.
All right, The Hanging Tree, man. A lot of our songs, as we've gone through, they haven't really had happy endings, and I thought this was another one.
I thought this was surefire, my man. I would have laid down a lot of coin on this, and this was going to turn out bad, but they actually switched it up on us, man.
No, man. So this guy, the motif of The Hanging Tree, is at the chorus, man, and again, musically a bit more upbeat than the previous couple tracks.
I thought the chorus he really got after is very good.
And then, he has his gold, but then, of course, it's the Wild West, man. He gets his gold taken from him, and I thought for sure this man was going to be an absolute goner, but he notes, to really live, you must almost die, and it happened just that way with me. They took the gold and set me free, and I walked away from the hanging tree, and my true love, she walked with me. And then the hanging tree kind of switches up.
Yeah, that's why I knew the hanging tree was a tree of life, new life for me, a tree of hope, new hope for me, a tree of love, new love for me. So almost the tree of life. Almost has a little bit of religious overtones here.
I was thinking that.
From some of the songs that Marty has penned and chose to song. So yeah, I was saying I really like that one a lot. Now
we're going to another one that Marty wrote here. We have Saddle Tramp, and then we're
going to classic El Paso.
Gonna end it with that. Saddle Tramp, man. This guy, I think a song for the wanderers of us, man.
Yeah, Saddle Tramp is the man who went around on horseback and just went wherever he wanted to with no strings to tie him down. Even he might go to Idaho, might see a miss. He neither stopped long enough for a kiss, but then he is gone.
He's out of here, man.
Saddle Tramp. I'm as free as the breeze, and I ride where I please. I mean, That's the chorus, and then he goes down to Phoenix.
No, and he says, but Brandon, no, never. I'll not be tied down, trapped by a fair lady smile. Repeats that chorus
This man
again.
probably got burned. We don't know. He probably got burned by a woman and said, you know what? Never again, man. I'm going to do my own thing. Now, Trevor, going to go to that full version of El Paso, which was released on the 1999 reissue that we're listening to. It was
only 20 seconds long.
Only 20 seconds long. That's why we just chose to listen to it. Written by Marty, and this was the only song of his I knew. I know Big Iron has more listens now on Spotify because of its newfound fame this century, but it became a major hit. Both the country and pop charts went to number one. It was the first number one of the 1960s and won a Grammy Award for Best Country and Western Recording in 1961. Widely considered a genre classic for its gripping narrative, which ends in the death of its protagonist. Its shift from past to present tense, haunting harmonies by vocalists Bobby Sykes and Jim Glazer, the Glazer brothers, and the eloquent and varied Spanish guitar accompaniment by Grady Martin that lends the recording a distinctive Tex-Mex feel. The name of the character, Felina, was based upon a schoolmate of Marty's in the 5th grade.
And yet again, one of the top 100 Western songs of all time. It's also was pretty frequently performed by
Not to be odd.
Grateful Dead. It's been performed by them 389 times. And Robbins actually wrote a couple sequels to this. One in 1966 and one in 1976. And the series finale of my favorite show of all time.
And mine as well.
Breaking Bad contains several references to the song, and the title of the episode, Felina, is an anagram of the word finale, but it is also more authentically Mexican spelling of the name of the woman in the song. In the opening scene, the song actually plays on the stereo of a stolen car. So I haven't seen the finale of Breaking Bad in a minute, but
I haven't either. Now we got to go check that out, man.
Wow, El Paso,
epic, man, epic. I knew this song. I probably only heard it a couple times. Heard little tidbits of it growing up. Just it's one of those things that popped in and out on sometimes TV commercials where they used to advertise the old albums.
Okay.
So they're alive back in the 70s. Know what I'm talking about? Where you could order them all, in different compilations of songs. I remember this was always one of the songs on the advertisement, but. What a thing, man. What a song.
Yet again, very cinematic in scope, man. You could see this being a little short film or whatever going
Do you imagine it happening? Like, I'm seeing it in my head as he's singing it. And that doesn't happen very often in music, but, he's in El Paso. And
well, a town that I have gone through a couple times, not really stood. You've gone through there a few times yourself, right?
Yeah. Not any town that really stands out to me, but he's in love with Felina, and they're... It starts out, they're kind of in the cantina together, and it's all good. But then he knows that she's wicked. He loves her, but he knows he shouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It progresses where this handsome cowboy comes in and is there with her, and he challenges the guy. And the guy apparently just stood up and drew on him, so he wasted him. He wasted him, man.
Dude.
But then he knew he better get out of town.
Oh,
man.
no, he knew, okay, it's not great, but he gets on a good horse. He gets on out of there, but one of my favorite lines, my love is stronger than my fear of death. He's like, you know what? I'm going back, man. I'm going back to Felina.
So he goes back, and I like it. I saddled up and gone away right in one of the dark. Maybe tomorrow a bullet may find me. Tonight's nothing's worse than this pain in my heart. So he knows he's probably going to die, but he's like, you know what? I got to see her.
At least I'm going to go out in love,
and he was correct. He was prophetic.
Dude, yeah. On the right, you had 5 cowboys. On the left, at least a dozen more. So
it ain't good, my man. At least 17-1.
And then he feels that deep burning in the side, so he shot once, but then he rises up. I was like, is this man going to push through? Surely not with 17 people.
Surely not.
And no, he didn't push through. He got the bullet going through the chest. And then from out of nowhere, Felina has found me, kissing my cheek as she kneels by my side, cradled by 2 loving arms that I'll die for, one little kiss, and Felina, goodbye. What a way to end the
freaking song, man.
Wow, man. What an absolute a journey of a tune, stealing from you, man. And
it truly is, man.
Lovely, Spanish guitar work by Grady Martin there. I thought he killed it, man. And I guess speaking of how good songs are, it'll go now to our favorite tracks. I'll let you start, Dad.
Well, obviously, you got to go with Big Iron. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with The Master's Call, and I'm going to go with El Paso. I mean, there's a lot of songs on here that are good.
I think those 3 stood head and shoulders
and were all written
above.
by him, by the way.
Yeah, those were fantastic. I got to shout out Utah Carol as well.
I thought that was good as well.
They're Hanging Me Tonight, another banger of a tune. Again, I like the storytelling just as we now transition to kind of overall thoughts and score of the record. I thought what stood out was, not necessarily the instrumentation, though we did have some good guitar parts and harmonies here and there, but really the lyricism, the story, and the way that Marty was able to convey those lines, man. I thought he showed some great passion, even on songs that he didn't write, which isn't always the easiest thing to do.
Not at all. And I'll tell you what, if you like this style of music, I can't imagine there being a better album than this album. I mean, I'm no authority on this type of music, but for me, there really wasn't a bad song.
No.
We mentioned a few songs. There's maybe 3 of them that are really traditional Western that maybe isn't my thing, but I still got to the point by the end I'm like, you know what, this is pretty good. So for me, I'm going to be at a very strong 8.0 on this bad boy, because you got to recognize it for what it is. It's 1959, it is tremendous.
No, man, and that's what I try to do. I think that's a good point, Dad, is judge these records. We can't transport ourselves to 59, but I'm not going to judge it by 2021 standards.
Exactly.
Like, where's this or that? No, man. I'm going to echo your thoughts, Dad. I'm going to be right there with you at an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable album, and we have Johnny Cash's Live at Folsom and Willie's Red-Headed Stranger, but besides that, we don't have anything in the Western country genre.
This would be a nice added addition.
I really dug this, man. Thanks to Shane. Be sure to give him some love in the comments and let us know your favorite tracks from this and your thoughts on Marty Robbins in general, man.
For sure.
And as always, Dad, appreciate all the research.
Was fun, man.
And until next time, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys got your holster ready. You never know.
That's right. You never know, man, when a man's going to draw on you.
And until next time, y'all, we will see ya.